morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Callie, and this is another weekend of Clarinets, Cats, and Coffee. In today's video, I am sharing with you a really pretty little etude from the Magnani Intermediate Method for Clarinet. And so this is available for free. It's in public domain, so if you search the internet. But patrons and channel members get this for free every week before I even post it on my YouTube channel. So if you like what I'm doing here and you want to get early access to these PDFs, please join Patreon or become a channel member. So the topic of today's video is going to be about eliminating throat tension and creating a beautiful resonant sound. And I think those things tend to go hand in hand with each other, right? So, and I chose this particular etude to kind of talk about this with because the first half of the etude, it's mainly just scales and like little arpeggiated patterns kind of going up and down. And it's a good way to kind of get warmed up and get started. The second half of this little etude is where things can start to get a little bit tricky and a little tense because the leaps become larger, and it's a recipe for disaster and squeaks and all kinds of weird tension causing things. So that's why I'm giving this to you guys. But you can take these tips and you can apply them to anything you're playing. But it's also just a pretty little etude to practice. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is to practice humming your notes. And maybe just pick one note. So I'm going to hum my first note. Let's see. And so you could either kind of put it in the back of your throat, and if you kind of throw it in the back, kind of like how I talk here in the Midwest, you're not gonna get a very resonant sound on clarinet, right? So try humming forward and feel the resonance kind of in your face. I can kind of feel it in my nose and my teeth and my mouth. And I went sharp, whatever. So we can create that same kind of resonance and sound and relaxed air if we think about how it feels to hum these pitches in a more forward way in our face. The second thing that I would suggest is to think about how you are supporting your air. And so a lot of times tension can build up in our throats, in our mouth, and our tongue because we're doing something weird lower in our body. And so a couple of things. One, if you are a regular on my channel, you know I really like thinking of the word home whenever taking a breath in. And you can take a really nice big deep breath. Another thing that I've been visualizing lately is kind of actually filling up, not just from like the bottom up, but also from my back, the back of my rib cage. And so I try to think about how it feels to expand my rib cage all the way around through the back, all the way up my body. And in doing that, it kind of helps give me a little bit better support from lower in my body, but like all the way around, rather than just the front part of the belly. So maybe think about that. Be mindful of how you're breathing in, feel your body expand, and feel it expand very deeply into the abdomen all the way around when you take your breaths in. Something like that. And to go along with that, make sure that you are already in comfortable breathing posture before you even start playing your first note. So I know in our effort to play really well, sometimes we get very rigid and we sit up very, very straight and we play, but that's often a little bit too tense for certain parts of the body. So take a couple of big breaths if you are unsure. Kind of settle into your seat. Imagine your head stacked over your neck, your spine, your body kind of on top, and breathe in nice and deep to find that good starting posture. Another issue with throat tension is we simply don't use enough wind force to get a good sound. Now, some people use too much wind. They overblow and it sounds kind of buzzy and out of tune and everything. So if that's you, then maybe this won't help you. But for a lot of us, I think the throat tension happens whenever we're afraid to really relax the air and use a nice forward motion with your air, and a very, very consistent forward motion with the air. So you can practice a couple of different things to kind of get that support going and that forward air going. So one thing you can do is just practice buzzing. And in doing so, you can kind of, at least I can kind of feel everything sort of relax and open up. And I even feel my air support kind of working. So you can practice buzzing. You can also practice trying to hum notes while playing a note at the same time. So I have a little bit of trouble with this. So we'll see if I can even demonstrate. So I tend to run out of air before I get very far, and I also have to like really, really concentrate on that. But once I actually put it to playing, oh, it's so much easier to get a good sound and to keep the wind moving forward. So you could try that. Another thing you could practice doing to kind of loosen everything up is practice flutter tonguing while you play, because it really takes a lot of wind to do that. Woo! And I ran out of air. But let's see. Okay, so that seems to have the most positive effect on creating a larger, more resonant, more relaxed sound for me. So maybe I should flutter tongue more in my practicing. Let me know if you guys try any of these tips out. There are so many different things that teachers will do. So if you have any cool tips that you want to add to the discussion, please add them to the comments below. Lots of people are reading these, and everybody's tips can really help each other out, and I would love to learn from you guys as well. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good weekend. Have a good week next week. And as always, happy practicing.